Alright, 5M, let's start out with a warm-up. Go ahead and answer these. Remember your order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. When you're done with these, come back to the video and check your answers. Alright, here are your answers for those. If you had any questions, please be sure to ask. Today we're going to be learning about rules, tables, and graphs. Our learning target is I can graph rates. First, what is rate? Well, rate describes the relationship between two quantities. There are always two different units that make up a rate. For example, 480 miles per hour means that you will travel 480 miles in 1 hour. Per hour means 1 hour. Another example is $2 per pound. So say you're buying some hamburger and it's $2 per pound. You'll pay $2 per 1 pound of hamburger. And we should know this one, 12 inches per foot, because we know that there are 12 inches in 1 foot. Rates are often expressed using the term per, as we saw in our examples. At 8 miles per minute, how far will a plane travel in 10 minutes? Per usually tells us to multiply if we think of per that way. So if we have it 8 miles per minute, so every 1 minute we're going to travel 8 miles, how far will a plane travel in 10 minutes? Well, we know that per kind of tells us to multiply, so we'd take 8 times 10, which would give us 80 miles. So a plane would travel in 10 minutes, they'd travel 80 miles. Well, we know 8 miles per minute, and so we have to do 2.5 minutes this time. So we're going to take 8 times 2.5, or we can write as a decimal as 8 times 2.5, which gives us 20 miles. Now, what is the rule for the distance traveled? The rule is d, meaning distance, equals 8, which is 8 miles per minute, times the number of minutes. See, as we can see, the per means times. Another example, a rule, which is just a little shorter, it's the exact same thing. It says distance, d, equals 8 times m, and the m stands for minutes. Distance equals rate times the time. So our rate was 8, and our time was 10 minutes in our first example. And the rate in our second one was still 8, but it was 2.5 minutes that time. Now let's look at the bottom of page 346 in your math journal. We can see that this is still the same problem as we were kind of doing in our examples. So for an airplane flying at 8 miles per minute, or 480 miles per hour, you can use the following rule to calculate the distance traveled for any number of minutes. And so they give us the exact same formulas here. Distance traveled equals 8 times the number of minutes, or we can read it as distance, d, equals 8 times t, meaning time. And that explains this tip below. So it says to use the rule d equals 8 times t, which we said the d was distance, the 8 is the number of minutes, and the time is the number of minutes that you're going. To complete the table at the right, remember distance is rate times time. So I'll do the first example with you real quick. So it's asking, the time is 3 minutes. It wants to know how far this plane will go in a matter of 3 minutes. And right here, it gives us exactly what we need to do. So it's saying 8 times the time, which we see here is 3 minutes, is going to be our answer. So if we take 8 times 3, you know that's 24. Now if we do it with the 4, if 4 is our time, all we're going to do is take 8, because that's our formula here says 8 times t, which is time. So 8 times 4 is 32. All right, so go ahead and answer those now. When you're completed with that, come back to the video. All right, you're back and ready to see your answers. Here are your answers for the table. Hopefully you saw a pattern that it was just multiplying 8 times 1 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, and it just went all the way down to 10. Alright, now let's turn to the next page in your math journal, page 347. Let's do these together if you would. You're going to be using the graph that we the table that we just made to graph these points. So we see they did the first two for us. They went over and they saw the 1. So they saw that the 1 down here meant 1 minute, and so they went up to 8 as their distance because it went 8 miles. Then they went to the second minute here, and then they saw that went right here we can see it went 16 miles, so they graphed it at 16. Now if we come and we are going to graph 3 minutes, so we go to our 3 minutes and we see over here that it was 24 miles. So we're going to go to our 3 and go up 10 miles, 20 miles, and each of these little squares means 2 miles, so 22, 24. So we'll graph that point right there. And then you just connect your dots. You can use a ruler for this, and it makes it look a little nicer because my lines won't be very straight. Alright, so you're just going to do that with the rest of them. You're going to go to 4 minutes. So you're going to go to 4 minutes, and you're going to see that it went 32 miles. So you're going to come over here, graph 4 minutes, 32 miles up. And you're going to do that with the rest of these, and then answer the questions at the bottom of the page. Okay, you've completed these and you're ready to move on. Here's your answer for the graph and the questions below. If you had any questions, please be sure to raise your hand and ask for help. Your assignment for today is to complete Math Journal page 348 and 349. I'd like for you to work on this independently, and please don't be afraid to ask questions if you find yourself confused.